Why is it that someone with a $10 million net worth can feel broke, while a school teacher with a modest pension feels like royalty? Morgan Housel once said, "Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money." But here's the kicker. We all know that logically. So why is it so hard to do? Why does a new car smell like success for a week and then just feel like a monthly payment? Today we're diving into the psychology of the spend, not just how to save, but how to actually use your money to buy a life you love. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at a fascinating piece of work by Morgan Housel. You might know him from his massive bestseller, The Psychology of Money. While that book was about how to get and keep money, his follow-up insights focus on the underrated skill of spending it. Think about it. We spend thousands of hours learning how to work for money and how to invest it. But we spend almost zero time learning the art of spending it in a way that actually makes us happy. By the end of this video, you're going to have a blueprint for moving past mindless consumption and toward intentional living. Let's get into the heart of why we spend the way we do. Part 1. Your money history is your manual. The first big lesson Housel hits us with is that none of us are crazy. We all have a money manual written in our heads before we even get our first paycheck. If you grew up in a house where money was tight and every dinner out was a celebration, you'll likely view spending very differently than someone who grew up in a household where money was a tool for status or a source of constant stress. Think of your grandparents who lived through a recession. They might still wash out disposable plastic baggies today. It's not because they're cheap, it's because their formative years taught them that resources are scarce. Therefore, before you judge your spending habits, look at your childhood. Are you spending to heal an old wound or to prove something to a version of yourself that no longer exists? Part 2. The social signal trap. Now, moving from our past to our present, let's talk about the biggest drain on our bank accounts, social signaling. Housel points out a painful irony. We often spend money to impress people we don't even like. We buy the status house or the status watch because we want respect and admiration. But here's the truth. When you see someone driving a Ferrari, you don't think, "Wow, that guy is cool." You think, "Wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool." Housel tells us the story of being a valet at a high-end hotel. He saw people pull up in Porsches who were actually broke, and people in beat-up Toyotas who were secret millionaires. The car was just a signal, but it didn't represent the substance. I'm sure this lesson hits hard. Most of us, me inclusive, have bought stuff which was not necessary at the moment just to impress others. So next time you're about to make a big purchase, ask yourself, if nobody could see me using this, would I still want it? If the answer is no, put your credit card back in your pocket. I hope you take this advice preciously. Part 3. Spending to buy time, the ultimate luxury. We often fall into the trap of thinking wealth is about what you can collect, but Housel argues that true wealth is actually about what you can reject. It's the ability to say no to a job you hate, no to a toxic boss, or no to a 2-hour commute. Think about the last time you spent 4 hours on a Saturday morning mowing a massive lawn or fixing a leaky faucet yourself just to save money. If you hate that task, you didn't save $100. You sold 4 hours of your limited life for $25 an hour. Just after I had my master's and began working at a wheat mill, I knew of a consultant who was making great money but was miserable because he never saw his kids. He finally decided to spend $400 a month on a wash and fold laundry service and a meal prep delivery. His friends called him lazy. But that $400 bought him exactly 12 hours of extra time with his children every month. In his art of spending, that was the best investment he ever made. The takeaway: start looking at your purchases through the lens of time utility. If spending money deletes a task you hate, it's not an expense, it's a liberation. Part 4. The diminishing returns of luxury. There is a psychological ceiling to how much stuff can actually improve your life. Housel talks about the first-class problem. The first time you get upgraded to a first-class seat on a plane, it's a religious experience. The legroom, the warm nuts, the champagne, you feel like you finally made it. But by the 10th time, It's just the seat. And worse, once you're used to first class, sitting in coach feels like a punishment. You haven't actually increased your long-term happiness. You've just increased the price tag of your baseline comfort. We see this with lifestyle creep. A couple gets a raise, so they buy a bigger house in a gated community. Now they have a higher mortgage, higher property taxes, and they feel like they have to buy a nicer car just to fit in with the neighbors. They are earning more than ever, but they feel more trapped because their cost of being happy has spiked. Whereas the goal is to keep your lifestyle a few notches below your income. This creates a happiness gap. If you can be perfectly happy in a $2,000 a month lifestyle while earning $10,000, you are statistically wealthier than the person earning $50,000 but spending $49,000. Part 5. Spending as an investment in experiences. If you buy a high-end designer jacket today, it will never be as beautiful or as valuable as it is right now. 5 years from now, it will be out of style, frayed, or lost. This is called depreciating utility. But experiences work in the opposite direction. They have what Housel calls a memory dividend. Imagine you take your parents on a trip to Italy. It's expensive and the money is gone the moment you land back home. But 10 years from now, when your parents are older or no longer with you, that memory becomes a priceless asset. You reread that memory over and over. You talk about the funny waiter, the lost luggage, and the sunset over the Colosseum. The ROI, return on investment of that trip, actually increases over time. To implement this, you need to stop saving the good life for some hypothetical retirement at 65. Housel suggests that we should spend aggressively on things that create stories. This leads us to the rule of 3. Rule 1, anticipation, looking forward to it. Rule 2, the event, enjoying the moment. Rule 3, the afterglow, the memories you keep. If a purchase doesn't offer at least 2 of those, it's probably just clutter. When we start seeing money as a tool to buy back our time, keep our expectations low, and invest in memories, the stress of keeping up with the Joneses just evaporates. It turns out, the art of spending money is really just the art of knowing yourself. The art of spending isn't about being a miser or a hermit. It's about being an architect of your own happiness. It's about realizing that money is a fuel for the life you want, not the engine itself. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What is one thing you spent money on recently that actually made your life significantly better? And on the flip side, what's a purchase you totally regret? Let's get a conversation going below. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm find other people who need to hear this. This is BloomShelf Hub, your go-to spot for deep dives into the books that actually change the way we live and think. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next summary. We've got some incredible titles coming up that you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching. And remember, spend on what you love and save on what you don't. See you in the next one.